And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and this is Odie.
And here we are. It's Thursday. Y'all, hang on. Friday's coming. It's next.
Oof. Well, we got a lot to talk about what's gone on over the last 24 hours of the Neshoba County Fair, events that have gone on in Lauderdale County and Union County areas as we all gather together to discuss the issues in our area. One big thing that we know is coming is next week. I invite you to come out, Lauderdale County, downtown Meridian. Here sits that big building over here called the 3-foot building. Right down from it, next to the Riley Center, is Dumont Plaza. And this is what's coming, the stump speech. Somehow or another, I've managed to be the moderator of that. I'll be there. We'd love to see you in the audience. And it's your chance to talk to the candidates, or rather hear what the candidates have to say. It all kicks off at 6:30 that evening. I think they got some food that's going to be there. Zach's Catfish and Chicken will be there. A lot of other things going on. So we'd love for you to come on down, be a part of this, and listen to this.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a good way for you to find out where people really stand. And we were talking about it, going to try and do something live, but we don't want live. We want y'all in person.
Yeah.
And we'd like to have some kind of another straw poll where
we'll see.
You know, you can go ahead and mark who you're going to vote for, and see if it's your mind was changed during this.
We'll see. Also, I'll try to go back and look at some of the polls that we've been running. And we want you to cast your vote on those. Terry Bateman says the 520 Club is watching. You know what the 520 Club is?
No, I don't. They got up at 5:20 this morning.
Had breakfast? Maybe that's it. The 520 group. Could be. We appreciate y'all joining us and being part of this. Did you notice that we're missing something this morning?
Well, I don't know.
It's our special guest who is running late. We're gonna give him a tardy.
He's on his way. He's coming.
Dr. Kane, Superintendent of Lauderdale County, will be joining us this morning to talk about school as it comes in. And there's so much to discuss that we're going to get over with all this.
A lot of new things that they're wanting to do and implement that's done in other parts of the state. You know, all I got is grandkids in school now, so I really don't have a dog in the hunt, more or less. But
I'm definitely going to ask about that year-round school thing floating around the rumor of that.
I got a special prayer request I need to ask everybody to
what is
get in with. Good friend of mine, and Rick's always saying good morning on here every day, and his sister-in-law, Gina Gardner. She is having surgery today. She had come down with breast cancer, was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she's getting that took care of.
Needs
today,
a little prayer.
And needs a little prayer to reach out and just get the Lord's healing hands to guide the surgery.
Yes, sir.
Through, so.
Nothing more powerful than that.
Whew.
Armies can't do anything against that. They certainly can't.
That right.
Y'all write that down and remember that. Let's see what we've got shaping up today.
I'm still wondering how many Trader Joe cookies got turned in.
And if y'all missed the 6:30 show, we did a segment, Trader Joe's, where they're recalling cookies that might have rocks in them. And me and Odie's thing was, when you buy cookies, they don't go on a shelf, you eat them. So what is there to return?
Yeah. And I wonder, now, is this like a big pack or... like a small, because if it was a sleeve, half of them got ate before they went out the store.
The picture that they used was like, that has about yay tall and has a lid that you pop off. The picture that they used.
Yeah.
Come on in, Doc. Come on in, have a sit down.
We're getting started here.
But that's so if you ate a cookie that was kind of hard from Trader Joe's, whoops, you ate a rock.
But I don't know if you get your rock back, though.
They are offering refunds on those cookies, so anything that you need to do on that. Let's see here.
Wrapper.
Mitch McConnell, let's get into that a little bit, Odie. Have you watched the video?
I didn't see the video. I've talked about it, and while you're pulling that up, I had my things to say about Biden and Democrat. And somebody said, well, why don't you talk about Trump? So I went on my little rant about Trump.
Who'd you make mad? I bet it was a bunch.
I don't know who they were, but So here's Mitch McConnell, and he's a Republican. You're not going to hear me defend a Republican or a Democrat. I will defend a person who has the beliefs that I believe is right for this country, no matter what party they are in.
Right.
So you want me to say something about a Republican? Well, here you go. Mitch McConnell.
He needs to go.
You've swung on the liberal side of things long enough. You've gone down a rabbit hole that I haven't agreed with in the last numerous years. But you were getting to the point where you were doing more damage to this country at your age trying to continue to push laws that...
You see this?
I mean, he's just frozen time.
And
I'm scared of some of this younger generation that's coming up. I really am. But are they any much worse than this? It's time for new blood. It's time for new people to come in that has new ideas. It's going to push this country forward. Look where we've gone. But we're still getting the same people for 40 years on these jobs who's never had a job before this.
Odie, are you suggesting someone that Mike could actually walk up Air Force One steps without tripping? Are you suggesting such thing?
Of course.
But,
term limits is one.
Right. And you look at Dianne Feinstein. It's time to step down and turn this over to someone who is capable. I'm sure each one of these have done their service in some shape, but there reaches a time when you put the safety of a nation at risk, and I think we're there on all of this. It's time to go on to the house, sip coffee.
I want to say that let's send him some prayers because he needs prayers.
Something's wrong,
and I hope that he becomes healed with what it is. But guys, when it comes down to it, our country, our life, our kids, our grandkids, and continued on until our good Lord comes back, needs to be on a better path than what we've got now. And somebody that's led this country for the past 40 plus years doesn't know what it's like to be on the real world on the outside.
Right.
Is not who we need leading our country. And
did you see where he fell at the airport a couple times last? And that really wasn't reported on. That was kind of like swept under the rug, so to speak.
They kept that very, very hush. And now when he's in the airport, they put him in a wheelchair.
Yeah, sure do.
So I'm just prayers for him, and it's time to move on. 12 years. If you love this country, do 12 years and get back to the real world. That way, when you make laws that covers everybody but y'all, you'll know how that feels to the regular guy when we have to have.
Y'all know this. They don't pay for insurance. They get all of these great, and they vote raises for themselves. We should try that, Odie.
We should try that. I bet they would laugh at us. Woo. And then, y'all get this insurance over here that ain't worth the flip. We get 100% covered health insurance. Y'all get Social Security because we've already stripped it empty. But we've got our own retirement. You see a problem with this?
I do, because across America this morning, there's someone watching me right now, me and you, that maybe brings in about $1,200 a month, maybe on a good month with their Social Security check. And they've got to decide, do I turn my air conditioning up to stay cool or do I get milk? Interest rates have gone up. Have y'all seen that this week? They're skyrocketing.
Their bills is $1,150. They make $1,200 all they got, and all they have is $50 for anything extra. There's an issue. And the way they turned around a few years ago and said that Social Security was part of welfare. I had a problem with that, too.
I remember Hank Jr., and God bless Hank Jr. for resigning from the CMT board. He is off of that. He's off of there. He's not a board anymore because of what they've done to Jason Alday. But he had a little song that said, turn down my thermostat when you're all running around in jets and Cadillacs. Can't take this line down anymore. And that's what it really sums up to be. Don't tell me to do something and you don't do it. That's Small Thoughts from Scotty Ray and Odie early this morning. We're getting ready. We're going to find out what the new school year holds.
We're going to get some education now. And so maybe we can learn something.
That's right. Y'all stay close with us. Dr. Kane is in the house. We'll have him next as guest at the Scotty Ray Report.
Our local headlines are brought to you by the Rock House Gun and Pawn.
Hello,
I'm Billy Solly, and for almost 3 decades I have served as your sheriff of Lauderdale County. I have chosen to retire, and it's time for you, the voters, to select my successor. On August 8th, I'm asking you to please go to the polls and vote for Ward Calhoun as your next sheriff.
Thank you for your endorsement, Sheriff Solly, and I'm asking for your vote humbly to serve as your next sheriff. Please vote Ward Calhoun on Tuesday, August 8th in Republican primaries.
Are you looking for a job that could last a lifetime? Structural Steel is hiring now. With employees that have been there from 20 to 40 years, they're family owned and operated since 1975. Competitive starting wages, a 401k package, and great insurance. Immediate openings on the day shift and night shift. From entry-level helpers, welding and tacking, grinding and fitting. And the list goes on of job openings. Start your future today at Structural Steel. Call 483-5381.
It's almost election time. Have you researched the candidates? My name is Michelle Griffith Joyner, and I'm asking for your vote for Lauderdale County Justice Court Judge District 1. With a bachelor's degree in criminology and more than 23 years of experience actually working in a criminal court, I'm qualified, experienced, and ready. My goals are to enforce personal responsibility and reduce recidivism. On August 8th, please vote for qualifications. Vote Michelle Griffith Joyner for Lauderdale County Justice Court Judge District 1. Learn more about me at joynerforjustice.com.
Will Parker is your local lawyer located here in Meridian. If you've been in an auto accident, see Will and get the help you deserve. Will explain your rights. Call or go online at parkerfirm.net. Will Parker, your local lawyer, 2110 Front Street, Meridian. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. This is Odie. Get back in there with your bright shirt.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. I had to wake everybody up. Well, you know, red's tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
So I couldn't wear my red shirt, so I wore my... I don't know what color this is.
As always, we like to point out and put people on the spot when we get a chance, and well, our special guest, we're going to do that also. Rumor is that he didn't like the gift that his mother-in-law gave him last year, that sweater for Christmas. And here he is to explain that situation there. What happened with the gift?
It was the wrong color.
Dr. Kane, who is head of the Lauderdale County School System, we are so glad to have you in with us this morning.
Well, it's good to be here. Obviously, listen to the show, and you guys always provide a great insight on some things. So it's just a great platform to be here. And
Thank you.
Yeah,
now,
definitely.
when will school buses start rolling? Because you get used to the summertime without seeing them. When are they going to be starting to hit the byways?
Yeah, we'll have them next Thursday. We'll be picking up our AK kids, and then on Friday we'll bring in our LZ kids, and then the following Monday will be 100% all. Next Thursday, you'll see we call them the yellow dogs.
Yeah, the yellow dogs.
The yellow dogs will be back out, and that's really the exciting part of the school year for a lot of kids.
With that being said, are y'all still looking for school bus drivers? Some folks that need to help with that?
Yeah, yes, sir. I think right now we're covered, but there's always that
backup driver.
That's right. We need subs, and it's a struggle, and it's a struggle nationwide.
Yes,
and we look at after COVID, a lot of people just chose to do something else, and then federal regulations have added another layer of time and commitment, and
which means me and you couldn't pass the test.
Yeah, well, it takes some effort and a little astute. We're constantly looking to make sure that we've got that Rolodex ready to.
And that also rolls in. Also, I'm sure that this is just as tough, and you explain it because you're the man up there that has to deal with this with the principals. But when a teacher gets sick of having people that maybe a retired teacher that would like to step back in and fill in as a substitute.
Yeah, and we partner through a private agency, and what they typically do is they go to work as a private agent for that agency, and then we hire them through that agency.
So that they know a little bit more about them. They're vetted.
Yeah, that's correct. And then it takes off some of the other financial pressures as far as workers' compensation or things like that can often come when you bring in someone who's not in the system, as they say.
Right. Now, I know you and Odie go way back here.
Oh yeah, we've been through a few tornadoes, some floods,
everything.
Yeah.
And y'all are in constant communication with each other. When the weather turns bad, do we cancel school? And explain. I don't think everybody understands. They go, why don't they make a decision?
I'm glad that's him. And Tim's always called, and he says, "So you think we ought to close?" I said, "Tim, I said, here's my stance.
Yeah.
I don't envy your job at all.
Yeah, the statute's very clear that really our process is to get in touch with county emergency and get their assessment. And we're reading forecasts, we're reading projections, but we're also reading road conditions at the time. Because, a lot of people think, well, I only live a mile from the school. I've got my power. I can get my kid there. But they don't think about the buses that we have out on the roads that are a lot of times an hour 15, hour 30. They're in the back roads. They're on the dirt roads.
And as you say that on the rural route, y'all think about this. There's kids that have to get up way early, as you say, an hour and a half to get to school.
Yes, that's right.
And sometimes there's sunshine piped in some of these areas.
Yeah. I mean, and so it is a difficult call, and it's one of those, that we do kind of snicker about at times because we know, 50% will be happy with our decision, and then 50% will, really be upset about what we call.
Right.
Either way, but at the end of the day, we're going to make the best call we can possibly make for the safety of our students, and then whatever comes of that is fine. But we have to put our head down at night and know we tried to make the best decision we could.
So now that I've gotten you in the spotlight, all these questions that I get thrown at, let me ask this because I just can't help myself. I get this brought up to me a lot. So you're sitting there in line, and the school bus little stop sign comes out, and you're sitting there, and the guy behind you drives around everybody. What is the law, and what can be done for somebody that puts children at risk like that?
And it happens more than you think. What we do is we ask that bus driver to try to make a mental picture of that tag, identify that vehicle. We have cameras now on all those buses, so a lot of times those cameras are able to pick up that. They get that tag. They basically file an affidavit with law enforcement. Law enforcement then proceeds to inform that driver that they're being charged with basically passing a stopped school bus, and I think it carries close to a $500 fine.
Wow.
And you're also getting radios in the buses now. So
that's right. We have over the last couple of years we've added GPS and cameras to our buses, and now we're going to be adding radio comms.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yes. So a lot of times, we'll have a bus out and there's no phone service, there's no cell service. Maybe they've backed into a small ditch or something and they need assistance, or maybe you've got a kid who's had an episode on a bus, a medical seizure or
and it
something.
It takes out the he said, she said. It shows what's really going on.
And, it does more than that. I can tell you this, we got people in this country that try to take advantage of things at times. And we've had bus accidents that the opposing driver said it was our fault. Well, we go to the videotape, and the videotape shows something different. So I can tell you without hesitation that the cameras that we've added to those buses have probably kept us out of 4 to 5 frivolous lawsuits.
Saving the county a lot of money there. And people probably, when you think of the superintendent of education, Odie, you probably don't think of these kind of decisions behind the scenes, but that is massive. You deal with so much that I don't think the average person has any idea that you do.
And I think it's because it's changed. I think the position has evolved over the years. I mean, look, I was in school. I remember what I thought about my principal and my superintendent. But I think it's just the pressures and what is asked of our school people today just differs a lot than it did 30, 40 years ago. And there's a lot of politics in it now, as well as what they expect your schools to do and
now,
to prosper.
The three of us were in school. I don't think there was a such thing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't remember seeing a school resource officer when we were young. Do you?
Oh, no.
But now that is a part of what we do, isn't it?
It is, and we're fortunate. Not all school districts have that option because they don't have the cooperation of their local law enforcement or their sheriff. But Sheriff Solly has been great with us and bringing those into our campuses. We partner. We met yesterday. We talked over the summer. We talked again yesterday to kind of make sure what those SRO roles would be and the expectations and the evaluations. And it's been a great partnership because we feel better knowing that we've got a trained law enforcement person on that campus, armed and ready to serve and protect.
All right, I got some more questions for the doc. We're going to call him the doc this morning.
The doc this morning, Austin said Ms. Win. So, yes, they are Ms. Win radios. So
Absolutely.
They have jumped on up to the top notch here.
Okay, we'll be right back. More questions coming up as we get ready for another school year. It's a time of excitement. I can remember getting ready to go to it. We'll find out more about this in just a moment. Garrett Outfitters on 8th Street is getting you ready for summertime. A large selection of cool hobo shirts. Maybe it's short sleeves. Maybe you need a pair of shorts. If you're going to be cutting grass or maybe riding a tractor this summer, you're going to need a straw hat to keep cool. And as you head to that favorite fishing hole, don't forget you'll need a pocket knife along with a great rod and reel. And if you earn your living in the woods, don't forget to check out their big selection of snake boots, Carhartt pants and shirts for any occasion. It's Garrett Outfitters, 3505 8th Street, Meridian. Have you been wanting your own building, your own shed? Speak to our friends at Bessadia Building, 601-728-1954. Now, they can custom build you a home from a barn dominium. Maybe it's a shed that you're needing or a simple place to park your car, a garage, a camp house. Maybe you need a place to park your tractor, your motorcycle, or even that lawnmower. They can custom design whatever it is you need. Quality work, trustworthy, Bessadia Buildings. Speak with Drew, 601-728-1954. Summertime has arrived and Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 has the exact lawnmower for your need. If you've got a big yard with acres and acres to mow, they have a mower for that. No matter the size yard you have, Freeman Tractor has the lawnmower that fits you and your budget. From 48-inch all the way up to 60, or the X-Mark lawnmower. Plenty of these to choose from. Also, they carry a complete line of LS tractors. Come by for a test drive today. Financing available. Drop in today to Freeman Tractor, Highway 494, see coleslaw or buttermilk.
I'm Nick Lisi, and I'm running for Justice Court Judge of District 1. Justice Court is the people's court, and I've been serving the people of Lauderdale County for 30 years. I grew up here, and now having 4 kids of my own, the future of our community matters to me. On August 8th, remember, vote Republican, vote Nick Lisi.
And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray along with Odie. Our special guest this morning is Dr. Cain, Superintendent of Lauderdale County School System. And I want to ask this because I cover a lot of news, and there's a reason that I do anytime that something happens near a school. And I want you to explain when y'all use the word lockdown. Say something happens 2 miles down the road, y'all go into protection mode for the kids.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, it's kind of like we talked about yesterday with the Sheriff's Department and our administrators. You know, safety a lot of times is an inconvenience, but you have to outweigh that. And we partner and talk, communicate with the Sheriff's Department or our city PD in the event that we've got an event. If it's within a range, they notify the school, and a lot of times the principals will then elect, based on the threat level of what they're hearing, where we're going to lock down. We do give some of that discretion to the principal. Then some of it comes as a directive from law enforcement. Hey,
this needs to happen.
This needs to happen. We've got a suspect in your area known to be armed. We need you to go into lockdown.
Let's talk about Bessie, who got loose at West Lauderdale.
How long ago was that?
That was a year and a half. She sure was pretty out front, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's
Disturbed every class going on.
You know, there's always stories at every school.
That's right. Every kid looked up from its paper and watched out the window and said, "Look, there's a cow."
Yeah, that was pretty neat there.
Yeah.
The school year is getting ready. What is our first football game? When will that happen?
Well, you know, we got 4 different school zones, so I'm thinking it's the latter part of August. I don't have a true date in front of me. I apologize, but I know they're all getting ready and practicing hard and getting those fields ready and those facilities ready and. You know, that's what brings communities together on Friday night, right? You know,
that's right.
It's you know, we can have all the differences we want during the week, but man, Friday night we get out there and we enjoy that and cheering for that local home team and those kids that you've seen since they were knee high. I mean, that's what brings communities together.
It is, and then so talking about community, a lot of people are asking the $22 million question here. We know we're starting our school system coming up very shortly. that's already set next school year. And the thought of a year-round school. So where do we stand with that? What are your thoughts on that?
Sure. Well, I have personal views, but I'll tell you really where things are.
Okay.
Full year-round school, it's a little misleading. People think you just continuously go to school, and that's really not the case. In the models that we've seen, we've got about 30 school districts in Mississippi that have started, and they're using what people refer to as the full year-round school, but it's also what we call a modified calendar. So essentially what they will do is they'll go to school for 9 weeks, and then they're typically off 2 weeks, and then on again 9 weeks, and then off again 2 weeks. And then that's kind of how they complete the school year. So it's not year-round. You still have a summer, but what happens is you start a little sooner, probably about the 3rd week of July versus the 1st week of August.
So who's to blame for us giving up Labor Day? Y'all remember when we'd have 3 months out?
We had a whole
Oh, man,
summer,
it was nice.
yeah.
For a long time. Summers just seemed like they were forever.
But you know, SRO was every one of us because we all had guns in our vehicles.
Yeah, times have changed.
Yeah.
If somebody was to show up and do something wrong,
Yeah.
everybody in that school was
Yeah,
armed.
honest, I think if you listen to some of the state politicos and they're pushing this, they're also leaving it to each school district to make that decision. What we're going to do is put out a survey in the coming weeks. It'll have some of that information on and a lot of other information that we want to hear from parents, stakeholders, students, teachers about as we move forward over the next 5 years. What do you expect from your school? What do you expect from our school district?
You know, I've got grandkids in there. So my daughter and my son-in-law, it won't be long with it. They're the ones that would have to. I don't really have the dog in that hunt, but now I've got a couple of nephews that are out of Hattiesburg.
Right.
They're in that year-round kind of deal, and they love it.
Right.
They really do. I hadn't talked to my sister-in-law about how long did it take you to get used to it or nothing like that.
Right.
But they seem to like that schedule. It's more. From what I understand, it's based on you were already off a week at this point,
Right.
but now you just kind of got one more week added
That's
to it,
correct.
and so nothing's really changing a whole lot.
That's right.
But so I've heard the goods, the bad, the pros, the cons,
and I promise you I have too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. But the thing about it is sometimes it can be a regional issue as well. There's one big elephant in the room that we deal with this time of year in this part of the state, and that's the Neshoba County Fair.
Oh yeah,
that's right. So if a school calendar were to change in this part, that would be impacted. And we have to coordinate with daycares. We have to coordinate with any kind of child care facilities, and then we contend with 2 post-secondary institutions here in Meridian Community College and Mississippi State. We have employees there that have children, so there's a lot of different calendars that has to mesh. There's just a lot of things to consider. You don't just throw a switch and say, "Hey, we're doing that."
Hey, I just got a note. August 25th is going to be the first ball
August
game.
25th. Okay.
And also, I got a note about this. Did you realize that Dr. Cain over here is rated as in the top 3 of all superintendents in the state of Mississippi?
that's what I'm talking about.
I didn't know that either.
Man, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
That's good.
I'd like to see.
My nephew
like to see
talks
that.
highly of him. My nephew, he's a doctor in education over in Rankin County, and he talks highly of Dr. Cain. Y'all went to school together, didn't you?
Who is that?
Brian Getty.
Oh yeah, okay, he's from right over here. This one,
he's in Rankin County.
I know Brian. Speak to him a lot.
He was a West Lauderdale graduate. He got all his knowledge from his uncle.
Yeah, we tried to get him back here a couple of years ago. We'll keep working on that.
There you go.
More up and coming as Dr. Cain is our special guest this morning as we'll go over the school year and what to expect in the next few days. And plus, we're going to test his knowledge about history. We love getting folks on the spot. That's next.
Yeah.
Scotty Ray Report.
Same old sound, and no one's answering. Vote for change. Vote Ben Shirley, District 81 representative, on August 8th. Ben will answer the phone. Ben will get answers in Jackson for District 81. Ben will create jobs and promote economic development for East Mississippi.
I'm Ben Shirley, and I'm asking for your vote in the August 8th Republican primary.
Vote Ben, District 81, August 8th. Paid for by Ben Shirley.
Your local farmer knows a good deal when he sees one. The L-Series Kubota tractor is the #1 selling compact tractor in the USA and offered at Parish Kubota with 0% financing available. Come see why we're more than a tractor store at Parish Tractor.
Health Now is your locally owned medical equipment store. Every person's need is a little different, and they offer a little bit of everything from hospital beds, wheelchairs, reclining back wheelchairs, breathing treatments, CPAPs and supplies. They even have walkers, bath products, and oxygen. And the great thing about Health Now is they offer same-day service. They're open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on call 24/7. Health Now Medical Equipment, where we treat our patients like family.
If every time the wind blows you get a little leery about a tree over your house, talk to my friends at Reed Tree Service. There's no reason to be worried about a tree crashing through your house. Mike Reed has years of experience dealing with trees. It can be as simple as having a limb removed or a tree that is just huge too close to your shop or house. It's not going to cost you anything to have Mike come out and give you an estimate. They're licensed and insured, taking care of East Mississippi and West Alabama. Reed Tree Service. Have tree, will travel. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. This is Odie. As we often do, we check the temperatures of things that used to go on. Now, I remember sitting back watching this show, and it was funny. Star on the show. He's born in 1931 on this date. You just don't hear the name much anymore. Anybody remember Jerry Van Dyke from Coach?
You know,
funny show.
It was funny, and he played stupid.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that just doesn't play nowadays.
That's right. It just comes natural.
Yeah, it's just the way they are.
Buck Owens wrote a song about that. All I got to do is act naturally. 1944, y'all remember this. She was born. One hit. That was it. But she was a looker for the time, and she had one song, Ode to Billy Joe. Bobby Gentry. Whoop, I hit the wrong button. There he is.
Yeah.
Bobby Gentry was born on this date. That's the Tallahatchie Bridge.
That was
Billy Joe done jumped off.
Billy Joe done jumped off. Poor old Billy Joe.
Oh, Billy Joe.
It took us 6 weeks to find that pose. We thought y'all might want to see her just standing there like that.
Yeah.
Took our research team. Let's see here. 1952, country music was always, well, it stepped on the toes and talked about real life issues. And it went #1 on this date back in 1952. A guy named Hank Thompson. The Welcome to the Wild Side of Life went #1. And of course, from that song, it would bring Kitty Wells to become a household name, who come up with the song. Immediately after that, it wasn't God who made Honky Tonk Angels. It's men like you staying in them, is what she said. Ooh. And the interesting thing about that song was she was just about giving up on being a star. And in a weak moment, she took like $40 to go in and to record that song because she needed some cash. And then, woof.
She got some.
She did. That was huge back in the day. 1957, you got a sign for us?
Here's your sign.
He was funny, y'all.
Yes, he is.
Bill Enval.
Man.
Born on this date. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but he did a skit along with, Larry the Cable Guy and somebody else. And I remember watching it thinking, there ain't no way that would happen. To where they were making fun of the Dukes of Hazzard and them going liberal and driving in a General Lee that had an electric engine.
A battery.
And they had peeled the flag off the top and put a
rainbow.
A rainbow on top. It was hilarious. I thought, yeah, every bit of it's true now. It's gone. My oh my. 1985, and I've said before, I never watched this show, but I do remember, because look, at Northeast Lauderdale High School, I wore flannel most of the time. I am what you see now, the way I'm dressed, and anybody that knows me, I dressed this way back in 85, 86, but there were others that were more fashionable. At the Johnny, was it Johnny Rivers I went to high school? He was always Mr. Fashion there. Showed up at prom, and, well, they were dressed like this. Y'all remember that? Miami Vice.
Man, Crockett and Tubbs.
So I don't think I was cool, Odie. I think I was born to the Barbara Mandrell. I was country when country wasn't cool.
Wasn't cool.
I think that was my lifestyle.
Ooh, I had a couple different ones in school. We won't go there.
There you go. 1990, I was on 7th Street. It's all gone now. It was behind the Baptist church. There was a blue house there, and I worked for Ken Rainey. I remember this song coming in. We got it in. I think it was called Z95 back in the day. We got in that new song from Garth Brooks called The Dance. I'll never forget that.
Me neither. That's our song, baby doll. Mine and me and Amy.
Okay.
That's our tune.
All right. I was worried about y'all. Zsa Zsa Gabor. Had she never picked her hand up, she wouldn't have made the news ever again. But she did this date. She was arrested and went to jail.
She slapped that fella.
She sure did. She knocked we'll just leave it at that.
You know who I am.
She didn't like it one bit.
No,
One of the biggest shows that there ever was a guy that never, he was just blunt. I don't know how to word it, but it was big. He did save many, many people's lives by his tragedy turned into something good for the nation.
Yes.
And he always had this, is it scouring look? And what's
I
the
guess
word?
that would work. I mean, yeah.
Y'all remember this show? Adam Walsh.
Adjective.
His son was kidnapped and murdered, which led for him to become that show. And I'm telling you, it did save lives upon lives.
It really did, and he's still doing stuff. Not as much, but he's still doing some of those shows, and he's moved on. And I'm trying to think, did they ever find his son?
Yes, they found the body. They did. And I know Dr. Cain is sitting on the other side. Please don't remind people that you went to Northeast Lauderdale and had anything to do with our school system, because I got a typo coming up. I just now caught it. Whoops. 1985. It says 815. Yeah. So y'all just disregard that. But the number one song today was "Whose Heart Don't Lie." Love Don't Care, Whose Heart Don't Lie. Boy, I think it was the ninth song that went in for the number one song there for Earl Thomas Conley. One of the greatest there ever was in country music. I liked him a whole lot. And these are two of the biggest trophies that you're going to see all day long. She got awarded today. She walked away from the CMA Awards.
Oh, those trophies.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Leanne Womack won all of these with I Hope You Dance. That was right before somebody from Los Angeles thought, I can make you pop. Hang on. She is country as country. Remember the song, I'll think of a reason later to hate her?
Yeah.
There's nothing pop about that. They tried to make her shows after that because that was such a success, and it didn't work, ultimately hurting her career.
Wow.
We had somebody cleared on this date. And this is why, in a world that we live in, of people jumping on the bandwagon without knowing the truth and accusing someone, it would be in 1996 is where this happened. I got out of date of the things here, but Olympic Park, there was a bomb that went off. And they blamed a young guy.
That was trying to do his job.
Right. Richard Jewell was accused of setting that off, and he was not guilty whatsoever. Clint Eastwood would go back and make a movie to help clear the guy's name. Hope y'all remember that. A true guy, and I didn't know for the longest.
20 years?
I have to apologize. Yeah, I have to apologize about this and not knowing. This is because he was so American. He loved our country. I just assumed that he was an American citizen all his life. He would not be.
No.
He came here, made this his country, and was one of the most patriotic fellas that ever walked. Bob Hope passed away on this day back in 2003. A man among men who done everything he could for our servicemen and women.
And went to where they were.
He sure did. Yeah. The U.S. of O.
Man.
I didn't say that right, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Just the USO. I tell you, look, if y'all want to give to something, give to the USO. That is, you land in an airport and you got a 3 or 4 hour layover and you've got all your stuff, you're tired. Military can go to the USO and go in and say, hey, here's my ID. Sign in, and you can go and rest. If you've got to be up for an airplane, you can tell them you need a wake-up call. You can go take a nap. Just a place to get out of the busy hustle of the airport. They do a lot and support our armed forces. And if you want to give to something that's this great USO, man, I tell you.
Before we go to commercial break, I want to throw this out because I get a lot of things sent to me of people that need help with the law. Who do I talk to? And I often align the law enforcement to help people. And I got a message this week, and I don't know what to do with it. And I honestly don't. We get a lot of. We're going to start a segment called "Dear Scotty Ray and Odie" of questions that we get, but this one comes from the heart, and I don't know what to do. Starkville, Mississippi. I got a letter from Starkville this week of a young lady who has children. She's been taking them to a daycare, and I've been sent audio of it. She said she's gone to police where children might have, and I don't know the whole story. That might have had a little abuse going on to where they were being taken. And she sent me audio and is asking for help. I don't know Starkville, Mississippi enough to know okay, you need to call Joe to handle this. Anybody that is connected with Starkville, Mississippi, that would know who I could direct this young lady into talking to. It seems as though she's gone to some form of authority and didn't get the answer that she felt she needed. And I'm at a loss of what to tell her. So if anybody's got a suggestion of somebody, Starkville, Mississippi, that could help a young lady with a child issue of possibly something going on that shouldn't, please let me know. Inbox me so I can give her some advice of where to go. We'll be right back. More with Dr. Cain. We're going to make him smile whether he wants to or not on a Thursday morning. We'll be right back.
For something as vital as your eyes, you should have your lenses and contacts made with the utmost care and precision. And that's what Grayson Optical does on 24th Avenue. Since 1996, Grayson Optical's mission has been to provide Meridian and surrounding areas with quality eye care products. That's why we're locally owned and operated. And don't forget, custom-made sunglasses like Costa for your eyes only. When you need to see clearly, Grayson Optical, 2021 24th Avenue, Meridian, 601-693-6374.
J&J Tire Muffler, located at 3420 8th Street, invites you by. And if you need a front-end alignment, make sure to try their new state-of-the-art alignment machine. No matter the size of your truck and car, J&J can align it. J&J also has touch-free mounting, laser wheel balancing, and as always, they provide preventive maintenance, including CV axles, shocks, struts, brakes. And they even do work on motorcycles. With the largest selection of new and used tires, along with exhaust systems. Locally owned and operated since 1978 in Meridian.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County's been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the for the election of Kenneth Graham.
Patrick Allen Companies services and repairs all brands of overhead doors, residential and commercial. Our service technicians are factory trained and have over 125 years of combined experiences. At Patrick Allen Companies, we are not interested in being the biggest, just the best. We are just 4 miles south of Meridian on Highway 145. Patrick Allen Companies, safety, service, and satisfaction.
Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. This is Odie. We had a 911 emergency yesterday in Lauderdale County.
Yeah, you remember the old song. What would you do for a Klondike bar? We found out.
Yes, we did. Let's go here to the firsthand here as we go to the fire department was called to Clardale's Dollar General. Live on the scene, we have it here. Lauderdale County's fire coordinator, Alan, saving the drumsticks.
Greg ain't far behind.
He's holding on to one back there.
I'm the only one that don't even have a box.
As we got there, the fire department, it was a fire call that went out, and turned out last week, 2 weeks ago, we had this ice thing here catch on fire. This week, it was the ice cream freezer. We showed up, and what it was, the store smelled like fire. If you were driving by and saw everybody and their brother there, here it is. Long Creek showed up.
The employees did a great job.
They did.
By turning around and saying, all right, look, everybody, y'all get out and be safe. And everything's wonderful now.
Fire department on top of the freezer there. So it did work out there. And one more last chance is we have Alan going back to make sure that that ice cream is okay.
Well, he's trying to find which one he wants.
That was, and you know, this is one of those good things. It hadn't been a lot of bad things going on, but we do have one arrest before we go back to Dr. Cain that we need to address. Yeah. The other night we broke the news that a Meridian Police car had been stolen. Woo, woo, riding around Meridian. Well, we've got our suspect in custody as we see that Roderick Butler has been arrested for the crime. It's going to be a felony possession of a controlled substance, cocaine, felony possession of meth, and his bond's been set at $100,000. So that's what that was all about.
Wow.
If you wanted to know there. So just catching you up on a few things. And we did have a lot of political speaking. And I'm telling you, it was almost like bring your own knife to this. Bring your own club. As the lieutenant governor, this is the hottest race and argumentative thing I have ever seen. As we go to the Neshoba County Fair, I was there. Of course, this is Chris McDaniel on stage. And we also had Delbert. Here's Delbert on stage there as they took to the stage to discuss. And there's hooping and hollering. And
well, we found out when you start talking the truth, you make some people mad.
Yes, you do. So y'all remember, August the 8th, vote, study, and study hard to make sure that you're going to be on the right path there. Dr. Kane has been our guest this morning as we go back. The school year is here, and we are excited.
Yeah. You know, it's always exciting. It's exciting for everybody. It's exciting for those parents. I see them, and they ask me, "Hey, now when's school starting again?" I said, "Why? Well, you know, it's just time. It's time for them to go back to school." That's right. And you know, and but they are, and we tell our people a lot of times, well, you know, wouldn't it be great if we could just keep that excitement every day?
It would be
all through the year, 180 days, you know, and. But we're like everybody else. We go through seasons, but man, the first couple of days of school just so exciting.
When is the first? Because I know school will start. How soon after that do y'all do the parent teacher where you come to the school and meet the teachers? When is?
Yeah, we give the discretion to each school, so because you know we just got so many different schedules and so many different zones. But
right.
They've got those out. They're pushing those out. Some of them will be the August 1. Some will be August 2, and then some will be a couple weeks after that. So usually right there in the first part of those first 2 weeks of school, they'll be sending those out.
Over the summer, have we had any major changes of maybe principals swapping out? Have we got any of that going on that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, we did. Each spring we look and we sit down with our administrators and we basically say, hey, we know you're on the bus, but we're going to change your seat. And, you know, and we look to see where we think they can best support their schools. And some will be advancing in their careers and some are going in different directions. But we've got some great administrative teams now, and we feel really good about our changes, but a lot of changes. But again, we just try to make sure we get the right people in the right seat.
All right, and let me ask this, because there's a lot of people that don't understand. You say you're called by your friend to go pick up your neighbor's child. There's something happened. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to report to an office. Tell us why that's important to go to one location so y'all are aware of what's up.
Yeah, so, you know, when you register your child, you also have emergency contacts, emergency pickups that basically you're authorizing to pick up your child or check out your child in the event of an emergency. But when you go to the office, they need to verify who's doing that. You know, we live in a society now where pickups and drop-offs are two of the most dangerous places actually that we have in schools. And we want to make sure if you got you know, Aunt Cindy on the list to pick up your child, that we've actually got Aunt Cindy there picking up your child.
Correct.
And not just somebody getting in the car with somebody.
It's for your protection.
It is. We're protecting the child. That is absolutely correct. And you know, that's our burden. You know, we make sure we want to get them to school safe and get them back home to mom and dad safe too. And you know, we can't say, well, they got in the car with somebody. You know, that's not a defense. That's not what we have to do. So
correct.
We want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure that we're keeping your child safe.
All right, I got another question on this because probably, and this is one of those just little hot questions that maybe you can answer, you can't. But I want it to where the general public understands what teachers are faced with when it comes to disciplinary action. Mm-hmm. When I was in school, there was no question. You went to the office, you got a paddling.
Right.
And then you would get one when you got home. Mm-hmm. Those days have changed now. What is the process? Is there a such thing as a paddle in a school anymore?
Yes, sir. Corporal punishment is still legal in the state of Mississippi. Now, each district has their own set of policies and procedures that allow that or do not allow that. Currently in Lauderdale County, we still do allow corporal punishment.
Now, does a parent have to sign a form saying it's okay to spank, or y'all just do that?
They do not have to. We can afford them that luxury at each school level. Some of our principals feel better about that, but it's not one of those things we have to seek permission.
Okay, I was, because you get into the California areas, and it's way different
Now,
from Mississippi.
I do want to say this, Dan. The law did change a few years ago about special education students. Now, special education students, or any of them with an IEP or under the current, I guess, investigation, or in the process thereof of being identified with special needs, they cannot receive corporal punishment, even with the parent's consent. The law forbids that. So that did change a few years ago, and so as we see more and more litigation, more litigious efforts from a lot of times from parents, you do have more and more people, professionals, shying away from that just because of the liabilities.
That does make some sense.
It's another odiism here.
Uh-oh.
People sleep for 8 hours. They're at home for 8 hours. And they're at school for 8 hours. Y'all are raising these kids. Half between y'all and half between the family, and then the other part of that other third, they are in the bed sleeping, trying to get a little rest.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can see when you started taking, you get your butt whooped at school, how society started going, and y'all spend that much time with these kids. I got my butt whooped, and I didn't like it at the time.
But it shapes you into a better person.
And I think we'd be better served if we brought back paddling with that wooden stick with the holes in them out there in the hallway. I'm talking about each teacher designed their own weapon.
They did. They used to, was with the little drill holes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I'm one of those that I am for bringing that back when you've got that much time to influence these kids.
Yeah.
Hey, that's part of it.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of different ways that we can discipline students today. And I think in my house that's the way we did it, and when I come through school, it's the way we did it as well. But it's kind of
another hot topic here, because Mississippi, Alabama is way different than the rest of the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about religion a second. Mm-hmm. What is the law? How does it state? Can West Lauderdale, can Northeast go out on the field and pray if they want? How is that?
We had Attorney Jim Keith in yesterday. He's one kind of renowned state educational attorney, and we had him breach this particular topic with all of our administrative teams yesterday. It's kind of a gray area, and depends on who initiates and who participates. There was a court case recently about a football coach. I think it's the Kennedy case. Mm-hmm. And the coach was originally basically terminated for praying with a team on a football field. And then it went through a couple different levels of courts. And then the final court there basically said, no, he doesn't give up his religious right as an employee to express that religious right in his individual manner. So this coach was basically going to the end of the football field, kneeling like old Tim Tebow kind of,
right?
Praying, wasn't coercing, wasn't forcing, wasn't manipulating. And then what would happen was members of his team would come and join them voluntarily to join in that prayer. Okay. The court said he has a right to do that. Nothing is wrong because of the individual expression of religion. You do not lose that simply because you walk through the doors of a public place of institution. But the law is more clear with current case law about your viewpoints being expressed as because what can be conflated is you're expressing the viewpoints of the school as an agent of that school.
They're basically telling you to be neutral.
Be neutral. That's correct. Be neutral. Again, as an individual, you can have your point of view. You can have your religion. You can have your beliefs. You just can't express those beliefs in a way that it makes you, as an agent of that institution, basically projecting it as reflective of the institution's held beliefs.
All right, let me ask this. Used to, and I hadn't been to a football game in a little while. I admit, whoops, I need to straighten up. But used to, you would invite the local pastor out before the football game started, and everybody stood, the Pledge of Allegiance happened, and then the preacher would say a prayer for the players.
Right.
Is that still happening, or has that been taken away by the state?
It's still happening from place to place. Community set expectations of what's allowed and what isn't allowed. Now, the law is, there is a law.
Okay.
Right? Certain school districts have been backed into some situations to where the courts have ruled not in their favor in that. There are some policies and procedures that school districts can adopt to where their students are able to express their religious point of view without necessarily calling it a call of invitation.
I got you where you're going with that.
Yeah.
We appreciate the honesty on that. That's
and
it.
Praying from prayer to poll, I think, is what they call it. So
Yes.
that's student led.
Yeah.
The student does that.
Correct.
It's not administration.
Yeah.
So that's allowed because the student does.
It is, and it's also allowed because it's done prior to official start times.
And kind of you could
Okay.
include the FCA in
That's
this. and
correct. That is correct.
More coming out with Dr. Cain here in just a moment. Y'all don't rush off. Boy, we finding out a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
and the 520 loves my shirt.
Well,
I'm glad
y'all
it's
go
not
ahead.
the 420 club.
Hello, I'm Ricky Roberts, and I have been privileged to be a lifelong resident and public servant of Lauderdale County. There's no denying crime is on the rise, and there's unrest in our community. It's time for action. It's time for change, and it's time to ensure the safety of the future for our families together. I ask that you elect me, Ricky Roberts, on August the 8th to be your next sheriff and allow me to continue serving you. This is our county, this is our home, and together we can protect it.
Are you ready for summer? Massey has a 2021 Jeep Wrangler that's waiting on you with only 61,000 miles. How about a Rogue with 57,000 miles? A 23 Camry with only 50 miles on it? Or maybe it's a Toyota Tacoma four-wheel drive that you're needing. From Silverados to F-250s, Massey Supermart Auto Sales, 1023 Highway 39 North.
Profit dealer, Massey Supermart.
I'm Devin Snowden, Republican candidate for District 1 Supervisor of Lauderdale County. I'm sixth generation Snowden to call this home. This is where I'm raising my family, where I work and serve the landowners of this area, and where we play. I want Lauderdale County to continue to call home. If elected, I'll do my best to make Lauderdale County its best. Please vote for me, Devin Snowden, on August 8th, and remember, I'm not just any candidate, I'm your neighbor.
Paid for by the campaign to elect Devin Snowden.
Meridian's favorite barbecue is Squealer's Barbecue, named the barbecue capital for the state of Mississippi. Whether it's barbecue, wings, or burgers, Squealer's simply has the best for a family environment. Every Thursday night, there's live music out on the porch. Takeout orders are welcome, and whether it's your next tailgate or large catering event, your friends at Squealer's are there to help. Drop in for lunch today or a night out on the town. Squealer's Barbecue, the best in fine barbecue.
Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and this is Odie. As we've had a great guest this morning, and I got another question. I'm gonna put him on the spot one more time. When is our first vacation? When's our first school break? Do you know?
Oh Lord!
Is it late? You don't get anything for Labor Day, do you?
Yeah, I think it's right around Labor Day. I think it's good Labor Day. Yeah, Labor Day. Yeah.
Okay.
Teachers be working; they got to take Labor Day off.
Yeah.
They are. And you can't wear white after that, y'all.
Yeah. That's the rule.
That's the rule. It is. Tell us in closing here of Lauderdale County schools are wide open.
Wow.
Your thoughts and what you're expecting for the year.
You know, we had last year was the first year we were ever rated an A school district. We're getting preliminary data back. Things are looking really, really good again. I think we're going to have something we're proud of again. We've got parking lot renovations going. We've got classroom renovations going. We got softball renovations going. We're trying to get Clardale finished. I know that's been a hot topic for a lot of people, and we've got those plans. We got those out for bid. We've still got some repair there on 300. That is top priority. We're getting that done. And the really big thing we're excited about in the future is CTE, Career Technical Education. We bought a center. We're getting that in the final stages of plans to get that going.
That's kind of like teaching you how to be a mechanic, how to do kind of like the thing the Meridian Public Schools used to do.
Yeah, Ross Collins, and it's still there, and it's a huge component.
We've got to get you back just for that.
Yeah.
That is the old Peavy's building.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be huge.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be a game changer. I mean, you talked about, we talk about economic development and, trying to bring in that to our area. But, and those people, those outside resources, they look for a lot of different things. But the one thing they look for is a viable workforce.
Right.
And we've got to be sure that we're producing students that are not just good test takers because not everybody's going to college. That's not everybody's ambition or dream or view of success. Correct. But man, we've got a hidden gem there that
you look at dirty jobs. Almost everybody Mike ever interviewed were millionaires.
Yeah,
just because it's not for everybody.
Well, I mean, you go right now, try to find a bricklayer. You go try to find an electrician, an HVAC. You go try to hire those people right now. They're going to tell you their price, and because if you can get them, so
they can be selective.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
So it is something that we're just fired up about. If you ever met Rob Smith, his passion about career technical education, and we just see it as just a game changer for Lauderdale County schools and just this area. Period.
All right, let me ask this because there's a lot of parents. I always get questions of. They have a question about school and they feel like something wasn't done. Who do they contact? How's the process work?
So we really try to operate by the chain of command because we say try to address your issue at the lowest level possible first. And so if there's a teacher issue, hey, reach out to the teacher, have a question. Don't get satisfaction or resolution there. Talk to your building level principal. If you still don't feel like you're being heard or things aren't still done correctly, then you reach out to us at the Central Service Building, myself, Dr. Joh-Mark Cain, or one of my assistant superintendents, Victor Gilstrap, DeShannon Davis, and we really try to bring some resolution to it. And if we are still not able to bring resolution, we have a 5-member board that's who we answer to. So we try to make sure that we get it right, and we don't always, right? We're like everybody else, right? Mm-hmm. But we really do try to make it right, and sometimes. Right isn't popular, we have to make hard calls.
Kind of like that Jesus thing.
Yes, that's right. So, and we understand that too. But at the end of the day, we have to look out for the district as well. And there's a lot of legal standing that we have to follow because at the end of the day, people don't understand how many decisions we make through a litigious lens every day.
Ooh, it's a bunch.
And so we have to be knowledgeable, we have to be consistent, and we have to be fair. It's a daily challenge, but we really try to do the best we can.
If someone wants to come to the school board, do they need to be put on agenda and then come, or can they show up and voice a concern?
It's really the same process. The policy and procedure asks you to attempt to address your concerns or grievances at the lowest level first, and you go through those processes to see if resolution can be reached. It requires a meeting with me prior to see if I can be sure, see if we can't bring a resolution to it. And then you do request to be on that board agenda, and then we basically tell you the time and date. And
all right, one final question here, and this has got to be settled for the Doc Lees. I can remember 1979 going to the school lunchroom, and I'd sit down there and give you that little tray. And it was awful, folks. It was awful.
You mean that square pizza?
No, worse than that. Do you remember, do y'all still serve that cookie? They take the fork and they stamp it in the middle of it. It has
that peanut butter cookie.
Yeah. Have they got any, do they taste any better?
Them were good.
A lot of things probably don't taste better, but the cookies aren't bad. I try to get in there and sneak a cookie every now and then.
I like the Scotty Rays around me. Yeah. I got their cookies.
You got their cookies. Hey, man.
And the square pizza, I remember that.
Hey, the square pizza with the yellow cheese.
Yeah, that's it.
And always get the side of corn with it.
There you are. He's been there with us.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Doc, we can't thank you
I
enough for
love
coming
their
in.
cookie.
Well, we appreciate it.
Again,
Yes,
Superintendent
definitely.
of Education, Lauderdale County, Dr. Cain, we appreciate you being
Thank you,
here.
guys.
And let me say this in closing as we walk away from this. There's not ever been a time that I have contacted the Lauderdale County school system that they haven't given me an answer. When I need to know something, they tell us. They don't shy. They don't run. They're up front because it's your children. They're honest with me. Yes, we're doing this. There's a lockdown. We're doing this to prevent this, or we're going to be closed. We're letting out early. They tell me. There are other school districts that I call and say, what is going on? And I get no response. Absolutely nothing. No return. It's like I don't exist. And then when you contact school board members, they also. We'll leave it at that. But I'm going to tell you something. Lauderdale County has some of the best of the best. Dr. Cain, thank you for leading that.
Thank you so much.
Definitely appreciate you being here, and we definitely got to have you back talking about some things with the county. And hey, blessings in disguise. Everything we do is for God, and we have our belief in God, and He's going to take care of us. But one thing we could do is to have Dr. Cain on here, talk about some stuff, and not have to worry about every second on that clock.
Yeah.
Now we've got to go, and we've had a full show, but we're able to get the information out that we think that y'all need. And TD had a question about Biden in his court yesterday. We'll cover that tomorrow.
Yep.
There's some other issues that we can cover. Today we wanted to hit with Lauderdale County schools because that touches so many out there. So hey, we got 71 hours. No, that's tomorrow. 23 hours. We'll be back for Friday. We knew it was coming. And then we'll take a couple days off. But other than that, thank y'all for spending your mornings with us. We love y'all. We couldn't do it without y'all. And hope you have a wonderful day.
God bless. We'll see you soon.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: